Iran's supreme leader has crushed internal and external threats for more than 3 decades. But at 86, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is facing his greatest test yet. And it's not because of his ailing health. His arch-enemy, Israel, claims to have control over Iran's skies, has been decimating the country's military leadership, and is bombing nuclear sites one after the other. And in the last few days, both the US and Israel have hinted that taking out Khamenei is their war goal. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that eliminating Khamenei would not escalate the conflict, but would end it. Then US President Donald Trump posted on Truth Social that he knew exactly where Khamenei was hiding, warning, "We are not going to take him out, at least not for now, but our patience is growing thin." And later, Israel's Defense Minister Katz declared that Khamenei cannot continue to exist.
אדם עומד עשרות שנים בראש מעצמה. יש לו השפעה אידיאולוגית רבה. הוא מפעיל אותה ואומר שהוא בעד השמדת ישראל. הוא מפעיל את כל המשאבים גם על חשבון העם שלו למען המטרה. ואנחנו רואים היום הוכחה שהוא באופן אישי נותן הוראה לירות על בתי חולים.
But Khamenei has been defiant. In a recent video address, he vowed the Iranian nation is not one to surrender and warned that if the US steps in, it will bring irreparable damage to them. Khamenei rose to power in 1989, succeeding the leader of the Islamic Revolution, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. While Khamenei didn't have his predecessor's religious credentials, he has ruled 3 times longer than the late Khomeini, and has shaped Iran's Islamic Republic perhaps even more dramatically. He entrenched the system of rule by the Shiite Muslim clerics. That essentially secured his place in the eyes of hardliners. Simultaneously, Khamenei built the paramilitary Revolutionary Guard into the dominant force in Iran's military and internal politics. The IRGC boasts Iran's most elite military and oversees its ballistic missiles program, along with its international arm, the Quds Force, as well as the Axis of Resistance. Iran has considerable power across the region. Khamenei turned Iran into an assertive power, wielding influence across the Middle East. He stopped the rise of reformists by rallying the clerical establishment. Unelected bodies run by Shiite Muslim clerics succeeded in shutting down major reforms and barring reform candidates from running in elections. The Revolutionary Guard and Iran's other security agencies crushed waves of protests that followed the failure of the reform movement. In less than a decade, Iran has witnessed bursts of anger over the state of the economy due to sanctions and the death of Mahsa Amini for not wearing a headscarf properly. But these voices have been ruthlessly crushed. Hundreds have been reportedly killed in crackdowns on protests, and many more have been arrested and allegedly tortured. Khamenei chose to invest heavily in the so-called Axis of Resistance, Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Houthis in Yemen, as well as a motley assortment of Islamic militant militias in Syria and Iraq. But since October 2023, this alliance has collapsed under the weight of Israeli attacks. At the same time, Iran's historic alliance with Syria ended with the fall of Bashar al-Assad's regime in December. Now a government hostile to Iran rules from Damascus. Iran's axis of resistance is at its weakest ever. Hiding in a bunker in an undisclosed location, his key advisors eliminated, Khamenei faces a difficult choice. He could escalate Iran's retaliation against Israel and risk even heavier damage from their bombardment. Or he could seek a diplomatic solution that keeps the US out of the conflict. But that could amount to having to give up the nuclear program that he has put at the center of Iranian policy for years.